Hey everybody, welcome to another quick video on OpenHAB home automation. Today we're going to be going over using a Raspberry Pi with the Sainsmart 8-channel relay. This tutorial is also going to apply to the 4 and 16 channel relays, but just today we're going to be using the 8-channel. So when I was getting started with this, I was actually on this guy's channel, Ski with Pete. He has a whole bunch of videos on home automation and specifically using the relays. And what we're going to be doing is stealing his scripts, his Python scripts, to actually test the connectivity between the Raspberry Pi and our relay board. So to get started, let's look at a pinout diagram for the Raspberry Pi Model 3, which is what we're going to be using today. As you can see here on the right side, we have our DC power 5 volt and the ground, as well as the 8 GPIOs that we're going to be using today. You can see some of these are shared with the I2C and the SPI, among other things. So if you're going to add peripherals later on down the road, like maybe an OLED screen or sensor inputs, stuff like that, that you have to be conscious that you're going to have to move these GPIOs later on down the road to something maybe down here at the bottom, which aren't being used. For this Raspberry, since it's just going to be a demonstration, we're going to go ahead and stick with just the first 8 GPIOs that we have on here. Now to hook this up to the Sainsmart relay board, all these are pretty much the same as far as their pinouts go. You have your power input, the VCC, on one side, your ground on the other, and then your channel inputs right over here. The other thing to make sure of is that your jumper pin over here, VCC, is set to the center pin. You want 2 and 3 connected. Do not connect the ground to center pin, otherwise it's not going to work. Now I'm not going to go over a video demonstration of how to connect these pins. It's just very straightforward. VCC pin goes to 5 volt output from the Raspberry Pi. Ground is going to go to any one of these ground pins that are on the Raspberry Pi. And in 1 through in 8 are going to be the first 8 GPIOs on here. So let's switch over to our Raspberry Pi command line and we'll start downloading those script files now. Okay, so first thing we're going to do is install Git. And I've already installed it, so it's not going to let me install it again. Now I want to make a subdirectory so we can keep all of our Gits in one place. And we're going to change into that Git. So now I'm going to clone Pete's directory. So do sudo git clone, and the address for it, if you go over here, this main directory, we're going to relay pi and clone or download, and this is the URL that we're going to take. So I'm going to Control C to copy, and right click in putty to paste. That looks good. Okay, so now we have all the files on here. And we're going to be using the 8 port. So we're going to skip script 1 because it's a little bit slow and just move right to 2, 3, 4, and 5 so you can see how it works. So I'm just going to do a sudo python script2.py. And that's going to keep going until I Control C. Now we'll do 3.py. So all these scripts are doing, let me go into one here real quick to show you. All we're doing is selecting which pins are the GPIO outputs, and we're going to say set up the GPIO out and set up as high, because when it goes low that means it's going to activate the relay. And all he's doing on here is just saying for each GPIO in the pin list up here, we're going to set it low to turn on the relay, sleep for a period of time, then turn it back off by going high, sleep, low, sleep, high, and sleep again. So it's really just turning it on and off. Really simple script, but it does a very good check to make sure that everything's working correctly. So now that we know that everything's working correctly, let's skip over to the MQTT portion of this. There's a couple of things that we're going to have to do first. Mainly it's going to be installing PAHO, which is the MQTT client for Python, but in order to install that, we have to install pip first, which is the Python package index. So going back to the command line, sudo apt-get install Python pip. I've already installed it, so I'm not going to let me do it again. Next is going to be PAHO. So now that we've installed pip, we're going to use pip to pull it. Pip install PAHO MQTT. And it's already done on there. So now that we have PAHO MQTT on here, let's go back over to our Git directory. And we're going to git clone this Mqtt Relay file from my Git source. And we're going to pull this again and do a sudo git clone. Paste that right there. Okay. So I have the pinout diagram in the directory in case you don't want to go searching for it. But now we also have our Mqtt Relay. So let's do a sudo nano and just look at it real quick. The only difference is from this to the test script is that we really have this PAHO MQTT imported. You can see the basic beginnings of it are all the same. The biggest difference now is that we're looking on Connect. We're subscribing to this channel, the home test, and to say on message, if it's channel 1 on or off, turn that output on or off. And then if it's 2, 3, 4, all the way down to 8, on or off. So each one of these subscriptions, you can change it to whatever you want, whatever's logical for you. I'm just calling it test 1 through 8 for outlets 1 through 8. Now the MQTT client, you're going to have to put in your IP address for the MQTT broker. Your port should still be the default 1883 and the connection time 60 seconds. So once you set your IP address, you can go ahead and exit out of here, save it, and we're going to do a sudo python mqtt relay. And this is going to start it. You're not going to see any output on here. So now we're going to pull over our OpenHAB installation, and in the configurations, the first thing we want to do is add the items. So let's go into the items directory. So I have a test file that I've already built. And I need to shrink down the size so we can see it all in one line here. All I did was make a group all and group G test under group all. And I added a switch calling it outlet 1, part of group G test. And this is all standard MQTT commands for OpenHAB. Mqtt is the name of the broker that we established an OpenHAB configuration file. And this is the channel that we're going to be publishing to. Home test, channel 1, command on, or command off, and then our state. So if I want to add more channels on here, or more outlets, I'm going to Control C. And I'll paste these in here. I'll just add 4 channels on here. So I got 4, 4. So now we have 4 outlets in our test items file. Outlet 1, 2, 3, and 4. Test 1, 2, 3, 4. Test 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. All right, so all this is set up. Now we're going to go into our sitemaps file. So exit out of this, save the changes. And now we're going to edit a sitemap file. So let's go into the sitemaps directory. And I called this one outlets.sitemap since I already have a test. So you can see this guy is a lot easier to deal with. I'm just going to add in these switches. So I have my 4 outlets in there, and that's all I need. I'm going to pull up a browser. So I have my browser with my 4 outlets on here. You can see I made a couple mistakes here. So to turn these on, hit them. All right, so these guys aren't going because of that spelling mistake. So let me go back into the sitemap. All right, it wasn't there. So let me check back into the items file. Okay, and as you can see on here, I did not change these. So now we have 1, 2, 3, and 4. So if I give that a second, all right, that's already done. So turn that guy on. He's on. Done. And as you can see, I still have a problem. So let's check back in our test items file first. So 1, 2, 3, 4, that's correct. 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4. So why is that guy not working? So I have 1, 2, 3, 4 on here, so maybe it's in the script. So I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 17. Okay, so I have my GPIOs on here are not set correctly. So all these guys are set to 17, which is because I copied and pasted them. So let's open up our pinout diagram. So we can see this is 1, 2, 3, 4. So pin 3 should be GPIO 4. So go here, say 4, 4. Save it. Start the script up again. So let's start them. Okay, and that actually worked. You can see it works pretty fast. Usually you only need about a half second to a 1 second delay in between clicking. That's why I love MQTT. So that's it for now. In the coming videos, we're going to go over rules. Now that we have information coming into our OpenHAB installation, and we have our relay board that can control information going out of our OpenHAB installation. So now we're going to kind of put it all together, and we're going to perform some basic functions based on information coming in and the rules file to set hard-coded things for time of day and stuff like that. So thanks for watching.